Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. My name is Pixelriffs. Our writer is SloyXP. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. With many of the hermits now back in their hermitages after spending all that time socializing and raising $1.4 million for charity, we actually have video footage to comb through this week. And that includes a bunch of them giving their thoughts on what it was like to participate, how close they came to MCC glory, and how far they're going to have to extend the Nether Hub tunnels to fit everyone's names on the abundance of signs they owe them.
And they just run down the whole thing here, all the way to the end, and there's not enough spaces.
But it also includes a triumphant return to base building, landscaping projects, shops, farms, and smashing the Ender Dragon over the head with a hammer. Also, tragically, the most British man you know has now become French. So let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server for the last 2 weeks. Starting with 5 prime cuts of grass-fed vintage beef, who gives himself a crash course in copper golems by setting up a storage system, which is also a great excuse to bust out the label maker.
I need your leather. I'm not a technical player, but I'm actually proud of myself. I made this happen.
And continuing the 1980s traditions, he flattens a community to build a shopping mall, tearing down the naturally occurring village in favor of the site of his base project. And it can't come a moment too soon because he's still having to do all his shopping at impulse buys.
And then I gotta go back to Cleo's farm and steal some more of her stuff. She's gonna be so upset.
Soon, all that remains is a flat area with the ghosts of some pathways. But Beef is quick to lay out the centerpiece of the mall, a fountain with a central helix. In the process, he discovers the secrets of Prismarine that were hiding in plain sight.
Do these things change color? I could have sworn I just saw them turn like a bluish, like they were a way bluer shade.
It turns out roughly half the whitelist didn't know, or at least didn't remember, that raw Prismarine has an animated texture, including Doc M77, who you'd expect to be the expert in pulsating cracks at this point.
Did you know that Prismarine...
Beef? Who are you talking to?
As I was saying it, I realized, yeah.
Season 3 and Season 10. I'm well aware of Prismarine.
As Beef works on the layout and floor designs for the shopping mall, Doc M is more concerned with how everyone else is decorating their walls. Because if they don't have a portrait of BOO as a baby and Skizzleman as a proud father, can they really call themselves family?
Oh, somebody dug out half of the mountain. What the heck's happening here?
While Doc is proud to show off the signs in the Nether Hub as evidence of the charity event's success, he also sneaks into everyone's spaces and leaves them a new custom painting, commemorating that one moment in particular.
I regret my life choices. Why did I introduce this custom painting to the server? Like, that wasn't me.
2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Yep, this feels right.
He soon adopts a baby of his own, though, as he breeds a baby chick at Azuma's base and leads it all the way home to his iceberg, where a new magical tower is beginning to take shape. The chick is later named Frostbite the Wicked, in an attempt to pack as much aura as he can into Minecraft's smallest creature.
I'm a princess, alright? Can do whatever I want.
As the tower grows and a fractured double helix takes shape around it, Doc sets up yet more redstone receivers so his atomic clock can switch his farming chunk on and off, guaranteeing the flying machines won't break and it continues to produce kelp at all hours. Impulse SV is also in the market for some auto-harvested produce and hollows out more spaces around the circumference of the silo base's agricultural layer so he can put in villager-powered crop farms.
However, there is a problem. It is annoying.
This unfortunately breaks the boat-based door to his villager trading hall, not because the farm needed to replace the mechanism as he originally suspected, but because a few of the villagers broke out and ended up getting in the boats. He considers leaving the door off the villager accommodation permanently, especially since the vault itself just got a lot more secure. A slime and honey-powered piston door activated at the press of a button now ensures the ground floor entrance is both epic and defended from the horrors of the outside world.
Yeah, this is not good. Oh no.
Granted, one of the horrors of the outside world is just Skizzleman, and that's only because he's bold enough to actually build with resin bricks, the mad lad.
I knew that the top was going to be something that I was like, it's just not working.
As one module of his mansion time-lapses into shape, Skizz hatches another plan in the background, and before long he invites the rest of the C team, Mumbo, Rendog, and the newly recruited Vintage Beef, to one-shot the dragon with a mace.
Looks like the hammer just found a nail.
Oh, I've been smacked into the air.
Yes, you have.
I'm gonna die.
This isn't as easy as it sounds because, as Skiz explains, even dropping from build height with the Density 5 enchantment won't be enough to slay the space lizard in a single hit. Luckily, he's thought of that and brought enough dispensers and wind charges to launch them above the build limit. Which is how, within a few tries, each member of the C team delivers an airdrop death blow to the Ender Dragon in glorious style.
Here he comes. He's got time. He's got this. He's got it.
Got this one.
And they're still wearing their team outfits from the MCC Hermit Takeover event so they can get in formation to celebrate their mastery of the mace. They aren't the only ones up to something in the end, because far out in the distant islands, Etho has been raiding end cities with the focus and precision of someone who knows he can get infinite shulker boxes from Impulse SV anyway.
I think this might be the furthest I've ever gone in Minecraft. 38,000 blocks. I don't travel much.
Instead, he's here for the Elytra, with the logic that he might as well turn the player launcher in the shopping district into a kiosk that sells Elytra and wind charges, proving that you too can enjoy the gift of hypersonic flight. Despite the incredible speeds he can now reach, he's still catching up to some server trends, like building a moss farm and blowing up good times with Scar.
It's totally falling TNT, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Whoa, what's that?
It's actually a TNT minecart.
Expansions to his base include the nether wood farm that performs the aforementioned blowing up, some fog glass effects that he tried and tested in creative, and a chain and cauldron feed tape next to his super smelter which acts as an elevator provided you don't mind it setting fire to your toes before you reach the next floor. But Etho also starts sculpting the custom landscape for his Prospect Hunters game, which begins on a beach for reasons we'll let him explain.
We're also going to have water. We're going to have, like, shipwreck. The joke was all the hermits got washed up. Because I thought of this idea back when that was the big meme, right?
Presumably the final boss is B-Dubs' mom. Meanwhile, Keralis sits on a throne at the seashore waiting to get washed. Now the server is running the Tiny Takeover update, he departs on an expedition to take a close look at the new small animals, which leads to him calling a baby chicken a tennis ball, while the thing is obviously a cube.
Can we? No. Can we make a little mini game? Whack the baby chicken?
His trip inspires him to introduce hogs into his Roman Empire base, and so does Anno 117, which he was using as a reference for the Roman Empire on account of actual Greece not being able to run on his computer. Actual hogs refuse to run in his pigsty either, as they all get stuck in the feeding composter, which is pig behavior if I ever saw it. Mojang really did a great job with coding the mobs.
That might be a thing we change to. Every single episode.
They did also do a number on the new string texture, which Etho and Doc make sure to come complain about to Keralis. Unfortunately, by then, his storage system is already finished and built into the villa, so the two Master Redstoners are no help with the golems.
Oh, hi. Oh, squad. You've seen nothing. And in I go again.
If he wants some bigger golem ideas, Keralis can just return to XP Crafted Space, where two more giant copper golem statues now flank another corner building on his raised pedestal. In fact, Keralis does interrupt to proudly demonstrate the netherrack box he's made around his portal from the Nether Hub, but XP returns to his time-lapse to complete a structure which, judging by the graveyard, is some kind of copper church. After all, he adds a funeral chapel, a flowering archway of the kind you'd probably get your wedding photographs taken in, and explains that the interior is laid out so you can see the giant central golem statue through the stained glass window. And I thought I was the only one who considered Minecraft Copper a religious experience.
It's turning out rather well. I'm pretty pleased. And the great thing is that they all look like they belong together.
Speaking of religious experiences, iJevin talks extensively about his time at Gamers Forgiving in this week's video. It's plenty useful for deep Hermitcraft lore mining and other kinds of fandom blackmail, like finding out that the gang had a Mojang employee on their hands and didn't hold them ransom for more stairs and slabs in the game.
And let me tell you guys, like, all of the work that I put in to lose all of the weight that I did and everything like that was so worth it. I don't think I could have done the trip without it, to be honest with you.
In short, Jevin was quite excited and worried to see everyone, and there was actually nothing to worry about, despite what some footage of B-dubs in the event might imply.
It wasn't what was your favourite moment from the charity event. It was, what was your favorite B-dubs moment from the charity event?
Et enfin, il y a Mumbo, who has relocated to a French mountainside where he will now terrorize the tourists as the infamous Le Sasquatch.
Literally the place that I've always wanted to live. Never thought it would be possible, and then the perfect house came up after like 18 months of looking, and we just went for it, and then now everything has turned upside down.
Mumbo's becoming an Expedition 33 character aside, here in Minecraft he finally upgrades his gear from the diamond set to the netherite one that Pearlescent Moon gifted him. It has flames drawn on it, so he can go faster. Across the base, however, his main task is to try and dig himself from under his well-sorted storage, a goal so exciting he actually breaks through the basement into his actual home and all the way to the top of the mountain. There he goes on to complete at least the most picturesque side of his Potemkin village megacity, even adding a smoke-stacked factory to the background of it to accentuate the varied facades. But it's also when Grian catches up with him to see if his salmon is big and his pork chop is small.
What the size of this one?
Yeah. It's because he hasn't been moving. He's just been eating this. You don't even address what you're doing. You just start waxing my reeds.
I have a condition.
Yep.
Called being me.
Yeah.
That's right, finally there is actually Grian, who does nearly finish the river around his observatory island except for that whole having water in it part. Together, they invade Azuma Void's musical base and go on a self-guided tour of his musical instruments, until Mumbo self-guides himself into a ceiling light and gets stuck up there somehow.
What happened?
Oh my goodness me.
Am I back?
This
No,
update is
why am I
cursed.
still up here?
What?
Azuma Void arrives shortly after to witness the majestic flying, but not flying, Mum Bird, and also to take a listen to the epic drum solo the other two have made on his beat machine.
I know you guys are having fun, but this does have groove to it. I'm not kidding.
Their reward is getting to experience the other song generator with all its note blocks switched to trumpet, also known as fart mode. But the fartophone will not be the last of Azuma's musical marvels, because that's right, finally there is actually Azuma, who adds a chord-playing machine into a wall of his melody museum. Which of course takes up another chunk of the hill he's living in, so his one-man band is threatening to poke out the other side by now. But only if his album collection won't get there first, as he started the project of displaying cult album covers on his wall, altered to represent and pun on his fellow Hermitcraft members. So we're of course eagerly awaiting the poster for Welcome to the Mum Parade. Regardless, Grian is so chuffed with the hangout that he takes an oath to put Mumbo's business hours into his schedule, just so he can bother the Frenchman whenever he launches Minecraft.
Mumbo is online, and I'll rush wherever I am on the planet. Rush to my computer.
And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is SloyXP and my name is Pixelriffs. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.